Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. And recently, a
Yeah,
trailer
there's
for the new Star Wars show called Acolyte came out, and I've seen it, and Thomas has saw it just before meeting.
just now,
Yeah, just now. And
right
Drinker
this
did a
second.
video about it. Now, I'll give my first initial thoughts on the trailer because I'm pretty sure Drinker's going to go all throughout it. But I was bored. I didn't really care that much about it. Kind of seemed
I
like a
was vaguely
nothing.
interested.
Like there's some things that could be interesting, but it was just to me it was just boring for me. So let's
It
see what
felt
the
like
drink what
whoa, 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 whoa. I want to say some stuff.
okay, you
Felt
go.
like the Winter Soldier kind of mixed with like that style where it was like fighting and that one lady had a knife. So I thought it was
Mm.
pretty. I'm vaguely interested. It's like one trailer, so you're
I
not
would
gonna
s-
get much out of it.
I
But
would say that's a
um,
problem though in a universe where they have
Disney
guns that
copies
shoot
itself all the time.
yeah, I would say that's a problem though with a universe that has plasma guns and laser swords, but that's just me.
I will say, if someone had like a little lightsaber knife, that's cool. But it was like a regular knife, so I
It
get what
was a
you're saying.
regular knife, yeah.
Um,
So I would say if it was a lightsaber knife,
yeah,
I could
yeah,
understand that, but
Drinker did a video. Yeah, we're great friends. The
yeah,
Drinker and
yeah,
this
we met
channel
him.
knows us so well.
Yeah, he knows us so
A single
well.
time. Actually,
Yeah,
wait, no, it was twice. It was twice
we
because we
met him
saw him at the
twice. Yeah,
yeah,
we
that's
saw.
like best friend level right there.
Yeah, best
You know how it
friends.
is.
We
Yeah,
fist
yeah, yeah.
bumped and everything. It was cool.
He offered me a drink. No, he didn't. Um,
He offered you a drink and then found out you were 16 and said, "I'll offer you two
I'm
just to
not
get you started."
16. I'm
No, you're
17.
17 now. Yeah, that's right.
What are you, 24?
Almost. Yeah.
Old. Anyway,
Our good friend, the drinker, made a
yeah,
video
great
about the
friends.
Acolyte trailer, and I'm pretty sure this will have a few more things that are not in the trailer that were said by the cast or some of the people involved with it. So we shall see. Because
We
that's what a
shall.
minute or two long trailer, and it's a 7 minute video. So
He had to say something about it.
yeah,
Hey,
All right.
remember Star Wars?
Yes, yes.
Oh, shut up, you. Remember how it used to be this awesome space adventure with cool heroes, evil villains, epic action scenes, and inspirational messages about the importance of determination, loyalty, sacrifice, and redemption? Remember when people used to get excited at the prospect of new movies and TV shows that expanded on a rich and detailed world we all wanted to know more about? Remember when it was still considered an icon of pop culture and not a sad, embarrassing train wreck being mercilessly milked to death by a gigantic
I will say we don't know that. We don't know what he's referring to because we were born when the only
The
thing
good
we
old
can
days.
remember was the Disney Star Wars.
Really? No. But like we
Yeah,
grew up with the originals though.
we grew up with like we grew up during the time well, we were technically born during the time of the one, two,
Yeah,
and
we were
three
born
coming
during the
out.
time of the prequels.
Yeah,
But
and
like
but
we
like
grew up on the original,
yeah, we grew up on the prequels and the originals, and then
And then the
but like
sequels came.
we
And we all know
briefly
how that
know
went.
the era that he's referring to of when you were anticipating the new Star Wars stuff.
I still anticipate some Star Wars stuff. It's just like not everything.
Yeah.
Like there was a time with like everything that came out Star Wars, you're anticipating it. Now it's just like only certain things. That's with like the MCU too. It's mostly just Disney.
money-hungry
No hate,
corporation
but
that
like
never
hate.
understood what made it special in the first place? Remember when it was still being worked on by creatives with genuine passion for the world they were adding to, instead of ridiculous, incompetent tourists and activists masquerading as filmmakers? Well, that brings me neatly along to The Acolyte, the latest excretion from Disney Lucasfilm preparing to join the long line of failed projects that were all going to save Star Wars. This time coming from the creative mind of Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant Leslie Headland, who really cares about Star Wars apparently.
Star Wars saved my life.
I don't believe you.
Anyway, in much the same way that Marvel desperately held back the trailer for the Marvels as long as possible because they fully understood what an embarrassing turd they had on their hands, not to mention the sheer fan apathy towards the project, the first trailer for The Acolyte finally released yesterday, 4 years after the show was first announced and barely 2 months before it premieres on Disney+. And Jesus, it's already been ratioed into oblivion. Honestly, the memes probably got more traction on social media than the show itself. But Drinker, you handsome roguish smuggler with a heart of gold, I hear you say. What's of the trailer itself? What does it tell us about the show? What's the tone and feel? What can we expect from the creative powerhouse of Leslie Headland? Well, I'll be fucked if I know, because the trailer is less of a primer for The Acolyte and more like a series of disconnected scenes carefully chosen to tell us nothing at all. I mean, I definitely had fun playing a particularly challenging game of Spot the White Guy with this trailer, because damn man, this one shows enough to fulfill Disney's entire DEI quota for the next 2 fiscal years. For example, check out this collection of Jedi Padawans and see if you can identify the one demographic that's mysteriously left out. Anyway, as best as I could piece together from various interviews and whatever tidbits of information the trailer gave us, the general gist is that the show takes place in a time of peace and prosperity for the High Republic, with the Jedi presiding over a galaxy of order and happiness, because Leslie Headland thought it would be interesting to make Star Wars with no war in it. Superb choice there, Leslie. Can't wait for you to make an alien movie that doesn't have any xenomorphs in it. Although I did like how she described the show as Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Fuck.
Which honestly feels like she picked the last 2 movies she happened to see and mashed them together.
The 13 of us began with a singular vision. Titanic meets Frasier.
I mean, honestly, what are you even supposed to take from a description like that? Apparently, she also wanted to explore the franchise from the perspective of the villains, because the bad guys are wildly outnumbered at that point and are the underdogs. Which kind of explains this line right here.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power.
Ah, Star Wars, the classic story.
I will say that running scene is the same thing that they had for Thor in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, Disney
With the
copies
trees
itself a
and
lot.
Thor running through the woods. It's just, I think he was running to the left and she's running to the right.
I mean, like, I mean, like, it's been a problem. Disney copies itself, like, often.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything that he's saying here, but, I mean, he's pretty spot on for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a weird line, because, like, on the one hand, when a trailer shows too much, it's like, why even watch the movie? But then on the other hand, when it shows too little, it's like, what is the movie? And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like a little balance where it's like the first trailer kind of shows just a little taste, and then like the next trailer's coming up, they show a little bit more. But like it should be like if you just watch the first trailer, you should still like want to go watch the movie. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like you shouldn't have to watch 3 trailers to get prepared for a movie.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. I
And
mean, you don't. A good movie, you don't need to watch any trailers for, to be honest. But
and then when I watched this trailer,
Anyway.
it just felt like a nothing burger, kind of like you described earlier. I really wasn't enthused. At some moments I kind of laughed, but other than that, I kind of laughed at how pathetic it kind of looked. But
I'm minorly enthused, I guess. I'm a little interested, but it's not going to be nothing I go out of my way to watch. Probably. It's
Yeah,
like I still haven't seen Bad Batch season 3. Like I haven't caught up with a lot of Star Wars, like in general, to be honest.
yeah,
Just it's not. I don't want to say it's not dead, but it's dying a little bit. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for like Mando season 3. You know,
I
or wait, no,
think
not season 3. Season like 4.
I think that my personal opinion is I think that Star Wars died when 8 and 9 happened. And this is
I
essentially
agree, but
this is essentially them trying to perform CPR on Star Wars, and I don't think it's quite working as well. And it's not quite working. There have been some like minor there's been some success with like Mandalorian,
yeah.
especially with season 1, but not much other than that. So
I agree. It died with 8 and 9, but it got brought back to life with Mandalorian, and I think some of like I think Bad Batch, and then like I think Clone Wars, like the last season of Clone Wars came out
Yeah, but
after 7, 8, 9. So it
yeah,
came back, and then it's like it just got hit by like a truck again and is dying. So it's like
yeah. This is kind
going
of
through a
the,
real emotional roller coaster,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. It kind of got a little bit revived, but now it's starting to teeter off back. So back down to
Yeah.
being a flat line of a heart monitor. So
But hopefully it bounces back.
yeah, well, I don't
Just
think
like
this show is gonna.
hopefully.
It doesn't seem like this show is gonna do it, considering what he's bringing up
Oh
as
yeah, I
far
don't
as what
think
the
this show
producers
is
have
gonna do
said.
it.
But let's continue on.
Of good versus evil,
Yeah.
which is no longer about good versus evil.
This is about power.
Tell me, why is so much of modern Hollywood about tearing down classic heroes and reframing villains as misunderstood anti-heroes? Why are they trying to dupe people into believing that nothing is intrinsically good or bad, that morality and objective reality don't actually exist, and everything comes down to what you personally feel? It's almost like once you stop people from believing in anything, then they'll eventually come to accept everything. Anyway, I digress. I have to admit, I did find myself with a few questions as I watched this trailer though. Like, why is Carrie-Anne Moss fighting like she's got a metal rod shoved up her arse? Why is this diverse individual cosplaying as the 13th Doctor? Why is this guy fighting hand to hand when lightsabers exist? How exactly did Leslie Headland get such a high profile showrunner job in a franchise that she's never even worked in before?
Like, you just have to have the confidence to walk in there and pretend like you know how to do it. I'm telling you guys, like, the truth. Like, that's how I made my first film, was that I was like, I know what's going on. I didn't at all. And I think it shows in the movie.
Ah, that explains it. If you want another fun little game for yourself, then look up pretty much any interview of Headland talking about this show, and I can pretty much guarantee that 90% of it will be her talking about her favourite subject in the entire world. Herself. How important this story was to her, how it made her feel to be represented, why her characters from a fanfic written decades ago somehow find themselves in a $100 million TV show because they mattered to her.
Is that when I pitched it, because I came in and I pitched my own idea, but I would have been able to understand as a queer person, and I think I would have had a completely different life. It was like, I was like, what I'm really interested in is, but it is always about the spiritual journey of what it is to become who you are.
This show has all the hallmarks of just another vanity project from a narcissistic writer who can't see past their own reflection and identity, whose creative imagination extends no further than
put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
These are the people in charge of Star Wars now, and I think it's about time that we accepted it's not going to change, ever. Disney are never going to give this franchise up, and they're never going to do any better because quite simply, they can't. And George Lucas isn't coming back riding atop a white horse to save the day. And in case you were ever in any doubt about that, just check out his latest statement where he publicly backed Bob Iger against the one and only guy who might actually have a shot at turning the company around. I guess a man really can put a price on his own dignity and self-respect. The point is that Star Wars today is nothing but an embarrassment to everyone associated with it. It's that pop star you idolised as a kid who's now a fat, balding, middle-aged man trying in vain to compete with artists half his age who probably has a search history more disturbing than Vosh's. It's that hot girl you dated once in high school who now has 3 kids by 3 different dads and lives off welfare checks but still goes out on the town every Saturday like she's 21. It's that 40-year-old woman in your office still listening to Taylor Swift songs, convinced there's deep meaning to be found in the trite, cliched lyrics and simplistic melodies. It's a grown-ass man who makes YouTube videos complaining about Star Wars for a living and wears shades indoors at night. Oh wait, my point here is that maybe
I was wondering where he was going with those analogies, and he finally brought it around to himself. So that was funny. That was funny. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because I was like, "Where is this going? This is the third one. I'm starting to feel uneasy." And then he did his. So
Yeah,
That's
he
good.
was getting there. He was getting there.
that was good. It's good. I think he could have just done 2 and then done himself, but I mean, hey,
So you had to drive the point home.
yeah.
Maybe this was ultimately for the best. Maybe it's time for fans to accept that the Star Wars they knew and grew up with is gone and it's never coming back. Maybe it's finally time to let it go and move on. Anyway, That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
You got any thoughts? I have a few.
I think, I think he kind of said, well, it showed that he did a lot of his work to kind of
Good
understand
research,
exactly what the showrunners and writers and producers were kind of thinking going into the show. And it has me not necessarily concerned for the show, because I kind of no longer care about the Disney Star Wars at all. I more so care about the books and the older comics and the older lore that has come around before Disney came and claimed it. So, but yeah, I'm very much, I can very much see this essentially doing nothing more but harm it nothing more than harm the franchise that Disney is trying to, or at least to some degree, Mandalorian and other shows are trying to somewhat revitalize. I can see this doing more harm than good.
Yeah. I think that I go into every like show, movie with like an open mind, because like you never know.
Yeah,
But this is one of those things where it's like I'm not gonna be on the edge of my seat anticipating this to come out, to be honest.
yeah.
I'd say one of the biggest things that one of the things that I picked up that he mentioned was talking about villains and how not every villain needs like a tragic backstory or like to be understood. And I agree. And you can see that with like good villains like Death in Puss in Boots, and then just like
Captain Hook
that
is a
one.
really good villain, and you're never given, at least in the old animated movie, because I think in the newer live action one, if I remember the live action one correctly, he was portrayed more as a sympathetic villain, whereas in the animated movie, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's
And you
he's
see it in
wonderful,
things
and
like
he's just villainous for the sake of being villainous because he's a
bad
pirate.
because he just wants
So
to be. Yeah. And you see it in other things too, like I think Oppenheimer, where the dude was bad
yeah, he was bad
because he
for
like
political reasons, and
yeah,
because he thought Oppenheimer kind of changed everybody against him when that never was.
when it wasn't
Well,
even about him. Yeah.
yeah, when it wasn't
It was,
ever about him. And granted, I know not
it's like
everything is factual in the movie, but it's as close to what they think might have happened if they
yeah.
can't find it verbatim. So
Yeah. But like but then like you get other stories where it's like it's on the top of my mind because I'm watching it currently. Like I'm rewatching it. It's a Zuko in Avatar: Last Airbender, where
yeah,
like good redemption stories. Like those are also really good too. So it's like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's just like finding balance in both and how like not everything needs to be one thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah, but
I
also
mean,
in
yeah, this one just
same show, you also have his father who is villainous and his sister who
yeah,
is just
and his
villainous
father
for the
is
sake
like,
of being villainous. So it's
well, no, the sister is a little tragic, but I mean, like
she's
the
still
father's
villainous, like very
yeah,
villainous
yeah.
though,
There's
and with
there's
no
no redemption for
redemption.
her, but you see a little bit more like why the way she is. But Ozai,
Yeah,
the Fire Lord, there's no redemption. He's just
yeah.
bad.
Whereas Zuko, he had a spark of it, which is what made his So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
And
saying
so it's
those
like
can't be.
in a good show, I think there's balance on both sides.
Yeah, and
But
I think you would agree. Like some of them are good, but
yeah,
the oversaturation of those kind of villains in the more current movies have been sort of putting a disdain on on other good ones and have kind of put them all in this clump
hmm
where you're kind of having to view them
yeah,
for what they are. And I think he would agree that there are a lot of good villains that end up becoming here. Loki, before they did the show, Loki in
Loki is
the
a great example.
Loki
Yeah,
from Loki all the way from from Thor, the first Thor, all the way to Infinity War, he has a very good arc all the way to that point where
yeah,
Goes from being a guy
One of the best
who-
arcs in the MCU.
Yeah, for sure. And he starts out as a villain and ends up becoming a hero who's trying to save his family. That he very like a decade ago resented very much so. So it's
Yeah. Even heroes have arcs like Iron Man, like that arc, because like he's a bit of a jerk in like the
Yeah.
beginning and stuff, and then he like kind of finds himself.
Yeah,
And Loki, it's like
he went from being a pompous hero to a selfless hero. Well,
yeah,
not
it's
quite,
like Loki,
but mostly selfless.
Loki and Zuko and all these characters. You start off like hating them before you like them. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a good balance in both. One thing that I will say is I'm not too excited because this seems to be like a lot of political mumbo jumbo in this. I think it's a movie. No, it's a show.
It's
In
a
this
show.
show that's coming out. So like that's never fun. No matter right or left, you just hate to see that in anything
Yeah.
because it's not needed.
Yeah, politics politics have no place in everyday entertainment.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
No
not
matter,
saying there
like-
can't be some entertainment that can be designed to be political, but when things haven't been when you're taking over a franchise that hasn't been designed that way and you're putting in modern day politics into something that's lasted for at least 50 years, I think either somewhere around almost 50 years, it's got no place in it.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Can't help but agree.
well, that's our thoughts on the Acolyte trailer review from Drinker. And his
Yeah.
thoughts, our good friend Drinker.
Yeah,
Plugging our
great friend. Yeah,
yeah,
we're real tight,
Yeah.
He knows from way back,
from way back.
not too far back because then it's
Not too
creepy.
far,
'Cause I'm
good.
17.
So let us know your thoughts on whether you agree or disagree with Drinker and or us, and we will see you next time on Galactic Reviews.